How we going, guys? Welcome to Live Hogs Vlog. And what an interesting weekend of cricket we had. But the big story, Sunrisers Hyderabad, are they becoming the basket case of 2021 in this IPL? Let's talk about that. Live on Hogs Vlog. Roll bumper, please, Shubs. Okay, right into it. Let's get into the first couple of talking points that I've got. Shaw Darwin partnership last night. I really want to get into this because these two have been the standouts for the whole IPL. They're the ones that have set the momentum for the Delhi Capitals, and this is the reason why the Delhi Capitals are at the top of the table because these two dominate from the start. Now, I'm just going to get a quick stat up here. What I like about this partnership is they work together. They congruent. So Shaw really dominates in the power play. Look at that strike rate of 187 and an average of 61. And you look at Darwin, he's got a strike rate of 112, but 56. Now, these stats are in the power play overs. Back to me, please, Shubs. As you can see, the other Delhi Capitals players that are in that power play phase don't have dominant strike rates as well. But when it comes into the middle overs, this is where Darwin takes over. His strike rate goes up to around about 145, 146 in those middle overs. But Shaw's drops down to 130 into the mid 130s. So they change their roles a bit. But when I look at this, is Darwin right to open the batting for India when it comes to the T20 World Cup? The only issue I have with Darwin opening for India is that low strike rate in the power play overs, because when you're playing up in the big levels, the big leagues, and you're playing a World Cup, you need to get off to a good start. And that's why I'm tipping Prithvi Shaw to get a nod in front of Darwin opening the batting for India moving forward this year. But they're working so well together, and it's all about the IPL, and these two are the reason why they're at the top, and they're favourites for me right now in this tournament. Now, let's go to the next talking point. Hyderabad in a little bit of disarray, dropping David Warner from the captaincy yesterday. I couldn't really believe it because if you look at Sunrisers Hyderabad, why they've been so successful is one, his leadership, but two, the way that he opens the batting with Bairstow. Yes, he's been a little slow this year, but remember last game he made 50. It wasn't the highest of strike rates, but he was just starting to find his feet there. And sometimes when a batsman gets that 50 in tough circumstances, it frees him up the next game, and they still feel a little confident because they've got runs on the board. So they should have stuck with him there. But I can't believe that they have changed the leadership role. So for me, if I'm looking at Sunrisers Hyderabad and you look at the start of the season, 2 years ago, they changed the coach. They got Trevor Bayliss in there to coach the team, and they dumped Tom Moody from the captaincy. From the coaching realm. All of a sudden, Trevor Bayliss has had 1 year in the coaching staff. 1 year. And they finished third last year, and they just missed out on getting in the grand final of last year's IPL. But then they reappoint Tom Moody as director of cricket. Now, for me, you dump the coach, but then you come and give him another job, which sort of conflicts with the coach there. So for me, bringing in someone that was at the helm of the team a couple of years ago to oversee the present coach now, I don't think it's a good move. And I think that move from Sunrisers Hyderabad in their coaching staff is their cause of their demise right now, because there's too many people making decisions, and Trevor Bayliss, the coach, hasn't been able to stamp his authority on the Sunrisers Hyderabad team over these couple of years. He's been overlooked. It's not the right thing. There's too many egos in that coaching realm, and then you've got Brad HOGG there as the assistant coach. So you've got two New South Wales players over here, people in Australia, in that coaching staff, and a West Australian, and you've got David Warner, who's a New South Wales player as well. And I just think there's a little bit of conflict between the Australians there in the way that they're running the Sunrisers Hyderabad team. So that's where I'm seeing the conflict of interest out Hyderabad. Now we'll just get into the next point there. I just wanted to bring that one up with Hyderabad. The Buttler and Tyagi factor. Butler, he's sensational. As a spinner, I don't know how I'm going to bowl to him because when he's facing the fast bowlers, he stands up tall. But when he's facing the spinners, he crouches down. The reason why he's crouching down is because spinners on these wickets aren't getting the extra bounce that they normally get because they're keeping low. But what he's trying to do there is get as low as he possibly can. And when it's on a good length, he's in a good position to still play off the back foot those hooks and pulls. And a lot of players can't play those type of shots off those good length deliveries. That's the reason why he's crouching. Now, for me, a game plan for that, I don't know how I'm going to get on top of Buttler there because he's in that good position. The only ball I think I could set him up for is the flipper, the quicker Yorker, and try and cramp him from room because he's down there and he's looking for those cross-bat shots. Hopefully you bamboozle him with his backswing, trying to come through a cross-bat rather than that horizontal bat. And Tyagi, Rajasthan Royals have been missing extra pace this year, and Tyagi has been injured. They haven't had the Englishman over there. I was going to say Russell, but it's Jofra Archer. Just blew my mind there for a bit. Archer. So they needed that extra pace, and it showed the other night with Tyagi with that extra pace. He had 2 overs, none for 7. He really put the opposition on the back foot early with that presence of pace. Now with Tyagi, I'm liking what I was seeing here. But Rajasthan Royals fans over there, don't get on his back because he's a young player. He's got a lot of fire. He's got a lot of pace. He's going to make a few mistakes out in the middle. And yes, he's going to go for a few runs here and there in certain overs. But let him learn from this. Let him develop. And I think he's going to be the difference for Rajasthan Royals moving forward. With him in the team, Buttler making runs, I think they could be a dark horse getting in the 4 out the back end of the tournament. But I'm not that confident, but they're a slight dark horse with that balance of team. All right, let's get quickly into the teams tonight, please, Shubs. The Kolkata 11. Look, I'm just making a few changes here, not so much to the personnel, but I'm going to have Kartik going up the order. I'm thinking about Kartik out number 3, still allow Rana and Gill open the batting. Tripathi out 4. Morgan, Russell, Narayan, Cummins, Nagrikoti comes in for Mavi. Mavi didn't have a good day the other day. Chakravarti and Krishna. Now, the coach the other day came out and said they're not aggressive enough out the top order. I don't think that is their big issue. They're losing too many wickets in the top order in the power play overs, and they're losing too many wickets in all 3 phases of the game. They're not getting good partnerships together. Yes, you can have that aggressive game, but if you're not having the partnerships together and you're losing wickets at a rapid rate, you are going to lose most games. So it's not the aggression, it's the amount of wickets and when they're losing the wickets that are costing Kolkata Knight Riders. Move on to the next point, please, Shubs. Bangalore. Tonight, look, the only concern I have with Bangalore is that top 3, Patidar, I'm giving him one more go. He has to go after the bowling tonight. If he doesn't get a piece of the bowling and he has a slow strike rate like the other night, they're going to have to get rid of him and probably get someone like Sundar to bat up the top of the order and try and back their all-rounders to do a bit of a job at number 3. Because if you look at these 2 teams, Kolkata and Bangalore, we'll get to the talking points now, please, Shubs. The talking points with these 2 teams is they lose wickets in the power play overs. They're both slow in the power play overs, so they're not getting their teams off to a good start. Both teams in the middle overs aren't quite as dominant as the other teams, the other teams in the competition. Where RCB really fly away from opposition teams is out the back end. They don't lose many wickets in the death overs, and they've got a high strike rate in that back end. KKR don't. And that is the difference between these 2 teams. If KKR can control AB de Villiers in the back end, they've got a huge chance of winning tonight. But I don't see KKR beating RCB tonight. I think KKR have got a lot of problems with the coach saying that they've got to make a lot of changes and they're not playing aggressive enough cricket. I just don't think he's got the right game plan for this KKR team. So that's why I'm going for RCB. Okay, let's get into the questions. Big weekend of cricket it was too. Okay, first question, please, Shubs. Have we got that coming up? It's coming up. Tobin, thanks for joining me. Arcotta, Tobin Sinesh. Oh, here we go. Shaz Watjar, how are you going, mate, in Bahar? And thanks very much for your little donation. Yesterday, I was feeling sad for Warner. They removed him from captain, but why was he not at least in the playing 11? Should Ferguson be in the 11? Oh, look, I'd like to get Ferguson in the 11 for KKR tonight, but who are you going to replace? Because they need the overseas batter in there in Morgan. Morgan's got a lift as well. When you're talking about KKR, yes, you can have a go at the top order, but if the captain's not performing as well, you haven't got a leg to stand on. So Morgan's got to stand up. But you've also got Narayan and Russell. You need their all-round ability. And Cummins is starting to find a little bit of form with a ball, but also very handy with a bat. So I can't see Ferguson getting in tonight. But David Warner the other night in that playing 11, I can't understand why they've got rid of him as captain. I think there's a few issues there in the hierarchy. As I said earlier on in the show, Moody's come in being the director of cricket. After being coach for so many years, and the replacement, Trevor Bayliss, has only had 1 year, and then all of a sudden he's got the person who was out the helm that he replaced overlooking him. I just don't like that. I don't think it's a good setup. I think you've created a lot of problems there at SRH. It's not Warner's fault. Warner's the captain. He's been the scapegoat, and if he hasn't been able to make any decisions in the teams that he's wanted out on the park, well, yeah, I just think the communication there at SRH has not been right. And we've seen that in some of the media interviews. So for me, I'm feeling sad for David Warner as well. Sunrisers Hyderabad have got to get their hierarchy sorted out as soon as possible. Next question, please, Shubs. Okay, here we go. Tobin Sanash. How are you going, mate? Hope all is well. Do you think Gale should open and let Mayank play with freedom instead of worrying about batting till the end? Look, I think Agarwal last night played exceptionally well. Under pressure, taking over the captaincy, losing wickets out the other end, batting right through the innings. It was an innings of maturity, and I think the Indian selectors will be looking at that, just seeing how he approached it. Taking pressure off him, having Gale opening the batting, I think you're probably right if Rahul's not going to play. Gale's got to open the batting. You've got to have Milan coming in out 3 if you're not going to play Puran in that middle order, because Milan batting out 4, he's such a slow starter, and in those middle overs you can't afford that in IPL cricket now. Milan's good starting in the power play where he can just time the ball and pick the gaps. But if he's starting in those middle overs and he's chewing up balls, it's not good enough. You need to go back to Paran. So if you're going to have Milan in there, Gale's got to open the batting. Totally agree with you. So Gale, open the batting when Rahul's not in the team. And if Rahul comes back into the team, you have Gale out 3 and Paran comes back in that middle order. And quite frankly, I'm looking at the stats last year, and Paran had a bigger impact than most other players in that middle over period. So for me, yes, he's had a bad start at the series. He's got run out once or twice. He's been a little unlucky with the shots that he's played. I think they probably could have with him. I sent out a tweet last night. It was a good move to bring Milan in, but the more I think about it with what he did last year, if you're going to win games, you need that powerhouse player in the middle order. You can't have Milan and Gale as well as Rahul in the lineup. So they've got to get Paran back in that team. But Gale to open when Rahul's not there. Thanks very much for that question, Tobin. Next question, please, Shubs. Okay, Ajinka Deshpande, how are you going? Thanks very much for the donation. Good morning to you. Namaste over in India. What do you think Chahal and Kuldeep can learn from Rashid to be more effective in T20 cricket, considering the World Cup is coming around the corner? Look, Ajinka, it's very difficult because both bowlers are different to Rashid. Rashid's got a quicker run-up. He's got a quicker arm action, and he bowls a lot quicker. And with that pace, he doesn't turn it as much as Chahal with the leg spinner, but he's got a more potent wrong'un with that quicker arm action, because batsmen find it difficult to pick up. And the other thing that I've found out with Rashid is he bowls two different wrong-uns now. I had the photo up before many moons ago where he has the leg spinner and then he holds a wrong-un differently, but now he's bowling a wrong-un that he holds with the leg spin grip as well. It's not as effective as the other grip, but it's bamboozling batsmen. Chahal, Kuldeep, for me, don't have enough energy on the ball. They're looking for the big turn, and when the ball's not bouncing and they don't have that extra pace, batsmen can sweep easily, and they don't have enough overspin on it like Rashid. So for me, the thing that they can learn from Rashid is getting more overspin on the ball. That will give them extra bounce, and it will take away the sweep options of the opposition batsman. Well, it will make comfortable to play those sweep shots. The other thing with Chahal, what I'm noticing now, is that a lot of batsmen are picking him when he's under pressure. He likes to bowl wide. Now, the batsmen are knowing that, and they're searching or waiting for that wide delivery, and they're pouncing on it and hitting it over cover or backward point. And Chahal hasn't been able to find an answer to that particular problem as well. So that's something that he's got to look at as well. I'd like to see him bowl a few more toppies as well, Chahal, just to get that extra bounce when batsmen are starting to sweep. So that's a good question. More overspin, Ajinkya, that Chahal and Kuldeep need. Okay, next question, please, Shubs. Okay, Sam Colgan, how are you going from South Australia? Hope all is well over there. Do you think Harsha Patel's overs could be used better? Yeah, but the thing with RCB, they need another bowler to bowl in the death overs, and I'm afraid that Harsha Patel, with his variety, that's one thing that he's going to have to add to his game. Yes, he's sensational through those middle overs, but I was thinking that he was going to get an opportunity in the T20 World Cup for India this year. If he's going to be in that particular side, or he's going to be in the squad, he's got to learn how to start delivering in the death overs. For me, he's got to be more consistent in the death overs. I like the way that they operate him and use him in the middle overs. I think that's where he's best suited, with his slower balls, his change of pace. He's got a lot of variety there, but batsmen in the back end and knowing what his skills are. And when he tries to bowl the extra pace, it's not quite as quick. So not a lot quicker than his slower balls. So he doesn't really have a good, effective change of pace when he's trying to quicken it up. Good question there, Sam. Okay, that's one thing that he's got to work on, is just those death over bowling. Next question, please, Shubs. Adesh Baral, how you going? Is Patidar suitable for number 3? Adesh, I'm giving him his last opportunity tonight. He had a good game a couple of games ago where he held that innings together. But with RCB, they've got the same problem as KKR. They don't have a powerhouse power play game at the present moment. Padikkal is doing a great job, but Kohli has been a bit slow. And then you've got Patidar coming in as well. If Patidar if Padikkal gets out, I don't think Patidar should actually come in and bat out number 3. I think they should bring one of their all-rounders up to fill that void and see if one of them gets off, because you can't have Kohli and Patidar batting together, because their strike rates haven't been sufficient enough for power play overs this year. So that's something that they've got to look at. If Patidar doesn't lift his game tonight, he's got to go, and they've got to have Sundar coming in at number 3 and just trying to back him to be more aggressive in the power overs for me. That's how I see RCB. So Patidar, last game tonight. Next question, please, Shubs. PC Tube, how you going? Namaste from Houston. Good to see you over in America. Harsh on Warner, I guess, it was team management problem that they didn't get good Indian players in auction. What say you? Look, I totally agree. I think if you look at Sunrisers Hyderabad balance, they haven't got good balance in their squad. They've got prominent batsmen from overseas. They haven't got enough backup batsmen from their locals. They've got a lot of quick bowlers from India, which is their strength. So they're full of Indian quick bowlers, but their all-rounders are all overseas players. And you can't have your dominant batsman out, the top three dominant batsmen and Rashid, and then try and fit an all-rounder in there. So for me, I think their recruiting has been abysmal, and that was their biggest concern over the last 3 or 4 years, and they haven't been able to rectify it. And that weakness is showing up right now. But also, on top of that, as I said earlier on, you might not have joined me then. I just think having Tom Moody come in as director of cricket, overseeing what's happening there when you've just replaced him as head coach with another coach, I just think that would be causing a little bit of a rift in the Sunrisers Hyderabad camp as well. So some big issues at Sunrisers Hyderabad that they've got to rectify now. All right, next question, please, Shubs. Cotter, how you going? Yes, you were a bit worried that we weren't going to get a question from you in today. Remember me? Yes, I do. What is India's best squad for T20 World Cup? Well, that's something that I'm going to do at the end of the IPL in a proper vlog. But for me, I think Bhuvneshwar Kumar with their bowling and Bumrah, the prime two bowlers. I think Pant's got to be in there in the middle overs. What I'm looking at. Prithvi Shaw's got to open the batting with Rohit Sharma with what's been going on with this with the IPL this year with his form in the IPL. Kohli out 3, Pant out 4, or might be Iyer out 4. Oh, sorry, Surya Kumar Yadav out 4, Pant out 5, and then Hardik Pandya out 6. What I can remember, Cronel Pandya might have to be in there as well with Hardik bowling a few overs. And then I'm not impressed with Shami at the moment. I think Avish Khan might be a big dark horse getting into this World Cup team with the way that he's bowled for the Delhi Capitals. He's been carrying that Delhi Capitals bowling lineup. And I'm still looking at a leg spinner to put in there. Chahal's got a lift to get in this team. But remember, international teams haven't done well against Chahal. So Chahal might be in there. That's just off the top of my head for the T20 World Cup. But I'm going to have a deeper look at that at the end of the tournament. Now, guys, thanks very much for joining me. You can join me on Brad HOGG _Hogg at Twitter and Instagram. But have a great day, guys. Stay safe. And Kolkata tonight, well, I think RCB are going to beat them. That's my prediction. And I don't like going against my old team, KKR. But have a good day, guys.